Today I'll be doing some ICM photography at the beach using the Sony RX100 VII. Since it's daytime, I'll be using this variable 10-stop ND filter so that I can get my shutter speed down to at least 1 second. I like using this camera the most for ICM photography because it's small and it has a range of 24 to 200 millimeter. A tip for you that I found helpful is that the longer you zoom in, then the less aggressive you have to shake the camera. The wider you are, the more aggressive you have to shake the camera. So let's see the photos. With my first photo, I wanted to come down here to a lighthouse and basically zoom in and get my composition with it. And this is what I mean when you zoom in, you don't have to shake it as much, because when you zoom in closer to the 200 millimeter range, it basically intensifies your shaking so that you don't have to shake it quite as drastically as if you were on the wider side. So here I'm zoomed in and I don't have to shake it as much. And here's the photo. I like how it turned out. I like how the lighthouse is kind of like washed away as it goes more up towards the top of the lighthouse, almost like fog, but there's no fog that day. And this turned out better as black and white. I'm going to show you the before and after. So here's a color photo. I didn't like it as much. It looks a lot better with black and white. It looks like an old style photo, black and white. There's some grain added to it, but all in all, I like how this one turned out. This is a good first photo. The next photo, I was walking down towards the beach and I saw these two people off in the distance. Again, this is why I like the 24 to 200 millimeter zoom on this little camera, because I just sat down on the steps, zoomed in, barely shaking the camera here to get the photo that I wanted. And here's the photo. So I think this turned out pretty well. We'll zoom in and look more closer to it. And I typically like ICM photography with people in them. I just like to look better with people rather than just landscapes. Because it's so bright outside, a lot of the photos that I'm taking are kind of washed out. They're very like pastel colors, but I actually like that about this. So yeah, not a bad one. So this next spot here, I really like this live tower. I photograph this every time I come here, different angles and stuff. So I wanted to try the ICM photography on this live tower. And just so happened the surfer is coming down and just kind of stands there, which is perfect to have a person in the photograph. And here's the results. So I really like this photo. I like how the tower is just kind of like all chopped up, you know, like this side on the right side is kind of blown out. You can't even tell that there's a structure there. And I do like that this person is standing right here on the left, and I didn't realize this, but there's another person walking on the boardwalk here. So let's zoom in. Yeah, I do like how this turned out. There was another photo that I got with this one that I like this one even more. So this one completely unrecognizable. You can't even tell this is a lifeguard tower, but I just like this a lot because you can't tell what it is. To me, this is a little bit more of the ICM photography style, kind of abstract type of view. I mean, you can kind of tell, you know, it's something, but you don't know what it is. Like if you go up here, you can tell there's a railing here, but when you go down here, it's completely unrecognizable. And I like that. It's just different than just a regular photograph. So here I walked around to the other side of the live tower with the four-wheeler in the foreground. And I wanted to get the four-wheeler and kind of the boardwalk connection to the live tower. Try to get all that and see what shaking the camera would do with this photo. And here's the result. And I quite like this. I like that you can still make out that this is a four-wheeler, and you can make out that this is a lifeguard tower and that is connected to the bridge. I like how this basically came out. What I did not expect was that the sky, so the majority on the right side is clouds, and then on this far left is, you know, the actual sky. I didn't anticipate this. I don't know if I like the little blue sliver here or not, but you know, there's not much I can do about that. But when I compare these two together, I think I would probably prefer this one over this one because of the person standing right here and the person right here. I think that's why I would pick that one. Although this one has a little bit more color to it. This one right here has a little bit more color to it because of the four-wheeler. Okay, so on this video, you can't quite tell, but there's a boat in the distance, and then like right between the rocks. And so I'm zoomed in on the boat, and I'm basically trying to get a photo of the boat. And here's the results. And I do like this. So let's zoom in here because you can tell more this way. So I do like the boat. It's very subtle. I like this black line here that really makes out the shape of the boat, and you can kind of tell, you know, here's the motor with the handle. The rock, I'm not sure if I like the rock there or not. I think it adds balance to the photo. If it wasn't there, it's just so prominent and so dark. But definitely the boat, I think the boat turned out great. I'm not sure about the rest of the photo. So I went walking up on the boardwalk, and when I was looking down, I see some of these birds sitting on the rock, which is another great opportunity to zoom in at 200. So that's what I'm doing here, and just trying to get into this bird and shake the camera a little bit, see what comes of that. And here's the result. And I really like this photo. This is probably the best photo that I like from this video. I like how, I mean, you can definitely tell it's a bird right away, but it looks like a painting. And this is one of the reasons why I like ICM photography so much. So if you zoom in, I mean, you can clearly tell the beak, the eyes, the legs, and then everything else is just kind of like a brush effect. But it's not really, it's just me shaking the camera. Like, there's no Photoshop or anything going on here. Strictly out of the camera, and I like that. So overall, I'm really happy with this photo, and this was definitely worth going to the beach for. Okay, here I saw this guy standing in the corner with his bike, and I'm going to show you two photos of this. One is the more wider view, and the other one is more zoomed in view. Here's the photo, and I definitely like, I went black and white with this. So here's the more zoomed out photo. Here is the more zoomed in photo. And out of the two, I would say I like the zoomed in photo a little bit more. I mean, you can tell, you can get more detail out of it than the zoomed out photo. The reason why I went black and white, like if you go into the color, like I feel like the color is just a little bit too busy. I mean, yeah, you can see the ocean a little bit better, and you can see there's sky and stuff, but I just more prefer the black and white because it's a little bit simpler. And to make it even more simpler, that's why I like to zoom in so that the subject is more fills the frame. When you go black and white, you see like this part right here, on the left side, his head, it's like he has like two heads or whatever. That's kind of removed when you go to the black and white, and that's what I like about it. I also really like the fact that his head is somewhat cut out. That's what I like about this. It's just scraps of an image, basically. Okay, here I got all the way down to the end of the boardwalk, to the end of the pier, and there's basically all these rocks from the jetty. And with the ocean crashing into the rocks, I wanted to try to see with the contrast of the black rocks and the ocean water and see what this turned out to be. And here's the results. And I quite like this one. You can tell these are rocks, and I like how the water kind of divides it in between, right in the middle. So there's like this bottom section and then the top section. And I think this turned out pretty well with shaking the camera and the effects that it gave. Okay, so I really like that boat. So I came back down and I wanted to take more photos of that boat. So I got a little bit closer to the boat. At this point, the boat has moved over to more of a side view. Waves are pushing the boat more and more onto the shore. It's tipping it over. And so with that, I get to see kind of more what's inside the boat. And so I see like the blue, and there's like blue, I don't know what that is, seats or something, and then a yellow something else. And so here's the results, and I really like this photo. This is almost as good as this photo. So obviously this one is my favorite photo from this whole thing, but I would say that this is even my like second best photo from this round. So if we zoom in, the boat just looks really cool. I love the blue and the yellow in this boat. So like I said earlier, doing the ICM this bright in the daytime, it makes the colors a lot like pastel-ish, but this one kind of pops out a little bit more than the other photos, and so I really like this photo because of that. You can tell it's a little bit more recognizable that it's a boat. Overall, I really like this photo. So I moved back just a little bit, and I wanted to try to get some rocks in the foreground and try to see if I can get something else with the boat. And here's the results. Now, I don't know if I like this photo as much. It definitely did what I was hoping for. You got the rocks in the foreground, you got the boat in the background, but the boat is just so far away, and I don't know, just looking at this, afterwards, I don't know that I like this as much. I definitely prefer this boat photo more than I do this photo. So walking further along the beach, I came across this guy under a blue umbrella. And so zooming into 200, I thought this would be pretty cool. And also at this moment, there's a boat going across, which is that's the photo that I ended up grabbing. So here's the results. So I do like that. I like that the boat is coming across, and I like the big bright blue umbrella. However, I feel like this is really good for a 1:1 crop. And a lot of these images that I'm taking for ICM that are vertical, because there's so much white space, a lot of these lend to a 1:1 square crop. So like this, I think is perfect. In fact, if we even go down over here to this boat, I bet this one will look so much better as a square crop like this. Yeah, even better, see? And then actually we can even go further than that and go to, let's see, what else would, even like this, the couple at the very beginning. There's so much space, it's completely unnecessary. So really, you just go down to a square crop and put them in like the corner right there. And there you go. A lot of these photos that I'm doing with ICM photography, they sometimes look better as a square crop than the original aspect ratio that you shot it in. So here's another view of the lighthouse. I walked around to the other side, and with this one I like a little bit better because there's more boats in the foreground. So I'm zoomed in, of course, and then this one I'm doing more of a twisty motion to see what I can get out of that. And here's the results, and I like this a lot. I like it a lot better than the other one. Okay, so let's compare. So like, here's the first one. This one looks a little bit, it doesn't quite look like an ICM photography. It just looks like an old beat up photo, which I like that, and doing it ICM style gave me this look, but it's not really the ICM style that I was wanting. So, but this one gives a little bit more of the ICM style that I was wanting. You can just kind of see, like, I mean, these are boats, but it's all like kind of scratched up, it looks like, and it's just a kind of a mess, but that's why I like it. And then you know, as we go up, the lighthouse kind of just fades away, kind of like in the other photo. And again, we have the pastel color too. So ICM photography always kind of gives out this pastel type of color. So as I'm walking back, I see this person sitting on the beach, and what really stuck out to me with her is her shirt, the orange shirt. Now I kind of wanted to see what that would look like if I could get a good photo. And here's the results. And I do not like this photo that much. This was the best one that I could get from her. Like, if I zoom in, I mean, this one just kind of looks like a mistake, really. It doesn't quite look like an ICM photo. More just looks like a mistake. So like, if you compare like something like this to something like this, you know, this one you can kind of tell, oh, this was on purpose. Like, this was definitely an ICM photo. Whereas when I look at this one, it doesn't look like an ICM photo. It just looks like a mistake. It's still fun trying. Well, that was fun. And here are my 4 photos from this round. Do you like photo number 1, the bird standing on a rock which looks like a painting? Or photo number 2, the man in the corner on a bike? Or photo number 3, the boat drifting to the shore with some colorful cargo? Or photo number 4, the boat with some rocks in the foreground? Vote by leaving a comment below. Thanks for watching.